Hello everybody, Anita here, and welcome to Topic Tuesday. Today I am actually wanting to tell you that I have a big announcement to make. I want to go home, but it is just not feasible to do at this point in time, and probably not for quite some time, because it is going to cost a lot of money in order to make that happen. For the past couple of years, Jim has been talking about that he needs to go back home to work for about 2 years, so that during that time he can be sending me money to save up and that type of thing. Which I've not been thrilled about this idea at all. But it's really starting to look like that is probably the only option that we have right now, because we have been struggling to get by pretty much for the last, I don't know, 4 to 5 of the 6 years that we've been here. And it's just not getting any better. And like most of the clothes that I have are clothes that were sent to me from the States, because finding clothes here is very difficult. I have worn most of them out. Most of them are full of holes. So when I go out, I go out looking like a bum all the time because I don't have any clothes and I can't afford to buy any, because most everything here is not going to fit me, which means I would have to like order clothes online, and it costs a lot of money to ship things here. Just, there's just so much. There really is just like so much that is, it's just to a point now where I can't keep going on like this. And I've been wanting to go back home for quite a long time, to be perfectly honest. And when I started this channel, I started it because I was wanting to go back home and knew that there was just no way for it to happen right at that time. And every time I was trying to figure out a way to make it happen, I was running into all these walls and blocks, and nothing was working out. So I started this channel to try to give me something happy and positive to focus on, to try to get through and to not completely fall apart. Like today, for instance, is my mom's 78th birthday, and I'm not there to spend it with her. That's something that I'm, very sad about. I miss my mother. I miss my sister. I have family back in Denver, which is not where we're from. We're from North Carolina, but we all ended up in Denver. And then, I have not seen any of them for 6 years. And I miss my family. I miss a lot about the U.S. But I know that there's just, we've looked into different things, and it is going to cost a ton of money for us to try to get back, for us to try to get the animals back. It's just not going to work without a lot of money. And so Jim is wanting to try and at least get the money up for him so that he can go back and go to work, because the job that he had before we came out here is there for him if he goes back. So he was a tow truck driver in Denver, and he can go back to work there, and he has plans on like living in his truck for 2 years, living on very minimal, eating crap food for the next 2 years or whatever, to try to send me as much as possible, so that hopefully we can figure out a plan after that, either us both going back there to try and do something, or if we have to stay here trying to start some kind of business or something, to where hopefully we can get something going with our lives, because in a couple of weeks I'm going to be 50 years old. I have no retirement fund. I have no savings. I have no nothing. Okay, so there's nothing for me to fall back on. There's no life insurance. We have no health insurance. You know, we don't have any of that stuff. And as I get older, I'm starting to think, you know, what is going to happen with my life? I mean, me sitting here, you know, trying to figure stuff out it's just getting to me. I'm really getting to a point where I'm starting to feel like I'm falling into a depression again, which I was months ago. And I got myself up and out of that for a little while, but I feel myself kind of getting back into it again. But Jim does need to go back. He really needs to go back. For most of you, you probably don't know this. Some of you probably do, but he's an amputee. And he has been in need for probably a good 3 or 4 years now, probably 5 if you want to really get honest about it. He's needed to go back to see his doctor to get a new leg and to get fitted and do all the things that he needs to do for that, because he's supposed to get a new leg every year, and he has not had one since we came here. We got some stuff, you know, before we moved out here, and he hasn't gotten anything since. And so he needs to go back and take care of that. He's also got to go back and take care of his driver's license, because it's supposed to expire in February. And he's hoping to go and get that taken care of. And it makes sense, even though I don't like the idea, because that means I'm going to be stuck here alone in a foreign country where I don't speak the language for, you know, possibly 2 years while he's doing this. But we just don't know of any other way around it. And so I'm basically making this video. I had planned on waiting. I was going to do like a fundraiser and, you know, get all this stuff lined up and everything, but that was when I was thinking, you know, I'm just going to put it out there that I want to go back, you know, that we want to move back to the States or whatever. And then he's talking to me and trying to talk me out of that and saying, no, you know, it makes more sense, you know, for me to go back because it'd be cheaper just for him to go back and whatever. But we got to raise the money. So I'm either going to have to do a fundraiser, which I probably will. I'll probably do a fundraiser. But I was thinking, you know, a lot of the cat pages do auctions, which, you know, this is not for the cats. This is for us, but this in turn helps with the cats. But a lot of pages do auctions where people are willing to donate items and auction them off, you know, to help whatever that page is with money. So if anybody is interested in maybe doing that, that would be helpful. Jim has his watches. I don't know if you saw last week's Topic Tuesday, but it was about his watches that he's rebuilt and things like that. You know, his very nice watches. If anybody's interested in maybe buying a watch or something like that, you could let us know. I don't know if there's anyone watching this that might have frequent flyer miles they're willing to donate, or if you work for an airline, maybe you could help us out with, you know, somehow getting a ticket. But it's not just that. I mean, you know, we've got to come up with more than just a plane ticket for him to get back. I mean, he's got to also have some money to, there's some fees that's got to be paid when he leaves the country. I'm not going to get into that here. You are more than welcome to contact me through Messenger, through my cat page or something. If you want to talk more and get more details from me, you know, I'm more than happy to talk to you about it, but I'm not going to get into a lot of stuff here. But we're looking at probably at the minimum $1,500 is what we really need to come up with in order for him to get a plane ticket back, to pay the fees that he needs to pay, and to hopefully maybe have a little tiny bit of money just to, you know, for him to have, you know, because he doesn't want to go there with no money in his pocket at all, because even though he has a job he can go back to, I mean, you know, it takes time. You don't just go into work and, you know, it's not a pay by the day job, so he wouldn't be going in starting a job, you know, the day he arrives and, you know, getting paid that day. So you got to account for that. So, you know, we need to make sure that he's got a little bit of money in order to actually, you know, get some food and stuff until he can get paid. So we're hoping to maybe raise $1,500 if at all possible. So I'm going to try to work on getting some type of fundraiser together. And like I said, you know, you guys please leave me some comments. I really would appreciate it. A lot of you, most of you that are watching this are probably cat page followers that watch these videos, you know, and I appreciate you so much for doing that. It really means a lot to me that you take the time to watch my Topic Tuesdays. They're not always all that exciting, but, you know, I do the best I can since nobody gives me topics half the time. But anyway, that's another story. But anyway, you know, give me some comments or contact me through the cat page, whatever, you know, contact me one way or another. If you have some ideas of something, you know, to do for an auction or whatever. Ultimately, I mean, to be perfectly honest, ultimately, I would love to go back home. I would love to move back there. I've been here 6 years. It's been wonderful, and I you know, the people are great, and it's a beautiful place and everything, but I am longing for home, and that is the truth. Maybe I will change my mind, you know, if Jim can go back and make some money and I can, you know, try to maybe start some kind of little business here or something. He's talking about maybe starting a, you know, renting out bicycles, you know, buying a few bicycles and having them up for rent, and me maybe selling, you know, iced coffees and stuff like that. You know, maybe we can do something like that. I don't know. But anyway, at this point, we're just trying to survive, and it's been difficult. So, you know, like it or not, I'm going to have to just deal with the fact that he's probably going to be leaving and going back there for at least a year or two. He's thinking more like 2, because that way it would give him, you know, more time for us to try to save up as much as possible, and then look at what we've got to see, you know, what are we going to do? Are we going to stay here and try to make a little business and do something here? Or are we going to try to, you know, just get the cats and the dog or whatever and get back to the States? But it's going to be a lot. I mean, you know, as much as I would love to be able to just pack up and go back home, I'm not leaving my cats. You know, the dog is, you know, that's another thing. I had not intended on having a dog. This was a rescue. For anybody who's sitting there going, how could you leave the dog? I don't want to leave the dog, but at the same time, I had no intentions of keeping this dog. This was a rescue that I was not going to keep. He is only still with us because we haven't found a home for him or anything. If we could find a home with one of his relatives or something, we might be able to do that to keep him from having to go back. But it's a lot of work. We know from moving here from Denver, we brought our dog and we brought up my cat that I had at the time, who was dying of cancer. So, you know, I'm not somebody who's just going to just leave my animals behind. Okay, I would rather stay here and be miserable staying here if that's my only option, rather than to leave my cats behind. Okay, just to make that very clear. So, but it takes a lot. I mean, there's a lot of vet visits, a lot of paperwork, a lot of stuff that has to be done in order to ship animals out of the country into another place. And that's the other thing, you know, with as many as I have, I'm not sure about Thunder, you know, it's like I'm going to have at least 4, if not 6. Because at this point, if you include the dog and you include Thunder, that's 6 right there. and that ain't even talking about the bird, but they're probably not going to let the bird leave, so we'll have to find a family member to take the bird. But it's going to be a ton of money. It's going to be a lot of money in order to get the animals back over there, and that doesn't even include getting us back over there. Even if we go back over there, we've got no place to go. I've got family there, but none of my family, it's my mom and my sister, basically, and my nephew, who's at college. My sister has no room. My mom lives in a senior apartment complex. There's no way we can go there. And that's it. I have nobody else. So we have no place to live when we get there. So if we did go back, we'd need the money for our plane tickets, all of the certification and everything, all the vet visits, everything that has to be done for all the animals, whatever it would cost for their plane tickets to get back. Once we got there, we would need money to stay probably at a Motel 6, because they're the only ones I know of that have, allow pets to stay there. Unless we could find someone, maybe someone here watching, maybe you rent apartments, maybe you have mobile homes you have for rent or for sale or something, cheap, or, something, or you have a farm that you wouldn't mind us staying at, or I'd have to find people that could watch the animals. I may have to call out to you and say, hey, if it gets to that point to where we actually are moving back there, because at this point that's not what I'm doing. But if it got to that, I'm just trying to let you know this is why we're thinking of doing it the way we're doing it, because these are the things we're going to have to do if we did move back. We're going to need a place to stay. Where are the animals going to be? Am I going to be able to find people that can maybe foster the animals temporarily until we find a place to stay and all of that? Where are we going to find a place to stay that's going to allow that many animals? Because a lot of places have a 2-pet minimum, or 2-pet maximum. That's all they'll allow. I don't want to live in an apartment, not with this many animals. That just would not be a good idea. Most apartments are not going to allow that many animals in the first place. I'm not going to live someplace that doesn't allow pets, because I've tried that before and I got in big trouble. So I will not do that again. So, there's a lot to consider, a lot to think about. And, ultimately that's what I would like to do. But for right now, I'm going to have to try to focus in the direction of see if we can raise at least $1,500 to get Jim back so that he can work, and try to get some money so that we can try to save up as much as we can, and then figure out from there excuse me figure out from there where we're going to go, what we're going to do, because time's running out. It really is. It's like, time's running out. Our visas, are only good for 10 years. So at some point, we're going to have to take care of that anyway. We're going to have to get our visas renewed. I mean, that's like something that is, you have no choice to do. You have to do that. And, we're at year 6 already. So, we still got 4 years on that, but time goes by really fast. I mean, I'm amazed that we've been here 6 years. It's like, are you kidding me? Really? 6 years? Oh, so anyhow, but that's my announcement, is that, this is the plan, as much of a plan as we can have at this point, because it's kind of hard to make plans when you don't have the money to actually put anything in motion. So like I said, suggestions will be appreciated. Maybe somebody knows somebody that's got frequent flyer miles they never use and would be willing to donate those, if that's even possible. I have no idea. Anything that could be helpful is appreciated, because he's got to get back. He's got to at least go back. For the very least, he's got to go back and go see his doctors about his leg stuff, because I mean his prosthetic is falling apart. It's like falling apart, and he has got to get a new one. And he's checked into it here, but it's like he needs to go back and see his doctors. They've got all his stuff. This was an accident that he had at work years and years and years ago. They are responsible for, you know, for the rest of his life. They're responsible for replacing his legs and, you know, his and all that stuff. But he needs to go back. He has to be seen by those doctors. He has to go through this process and everything, you know, in order to get the things that he needs. And that is a must. He has got to do that soon, ASAP, which is why I'm doing this now, because, you know, here we are at the end of the year, and a new year's starting. His driver's license is going to expire in February. You know, which that's not a big deal, but, you know, he does have to get that taken care of, obviously, if he does go back to work, because he drives tow trucks. So he has to have a valid driver's license, you know. Oh, so anyhow, so that's it, you guys. Didn't mean to ramble on so long, and I hope that, you know, it was okay for me just to do it this way, but I'm stressing out. I'm like majorly stressed out. I'm trying to keep positive. I'm trying to keep my spirits up and not fall into a depression. But it's been really hard because I'm just, you know, I'm not seeing a way out, and we just can't get ahead. It's like, you know, every time we try to get ahead, it just doesn't work. So, like I said, he's got watches for sale. If you're interested in a watch, you know, with Christmas coming up, it's possible that you might know somebody that would really like a nice watch or something. You know, auction, if we can get people that will donate things to auction. I've never done one before. I kind of have an idea how they work with, you know, the other cat pages and stuff. Maybe we can do that. I'll do a fundraiser. Just whatever can be done, and I appreciate anything and everything. So any help at all, even if it's just a suggestion, is appreciated, okay? I don't want to sit here and beg you to give me your money. That's why I'm putting other ideas out there and saying, hey, you know, if you've got an idea of some other way to do it, if you've got frequent flyer miles, or if you work for an airline and you know of some way of getting a free ticket or whatever, you know, any help is appreciated. So thank you all very much. And as usual, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. Always leave comments in the comment section, especially if you've got anything that you want to tell me about this. I appreciate it. And if you'd like to help support the channel, which helps to support us, here's how you can do that. So thank you, everybody. Have a good one, and we will see y'all later. Bye.